Hello and
Hello.
welcome once again to the Paint Shack.
Oh.
We are joined as always by our resident expert of all things artisanal, Master Robbing,
Ooh,
and
I don't
captor
know about
of
expert.
multiple pro painters who have disappeared off the face of the earth recently, only to be rescued in a bizarre and dangerous raid. So
It does the
now
edge
that you've let them
highlighting,
back into
Miles,
the
or it
wild,
gets the hose again.
that's right. Can just hear him running over, like you said, escaping through the garden. Free me, please. Anyway, so you have been conversing with pro painters abound, and now you're left with me to pick up the pieces.
That's
So
all right.
obviously, I have been following with some interest, if you listen to the show, the joy that is your artisanal civil engineering project / Titan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I listened back to the episode and it was like, wow, you know, we're talking about breaking strains of 300 tons or something. So now people have kind of talked through it. Maybe you can give us a little bit more details about this. Specifically, obviously, the bit in the show that I was exclamated about was how long is this going to take to paint? And now I've seen you do it, I can see why. So, Mr. Robin, come on down and talk me through what in the world is going on here.
I think it's probably a shorter list if I say what isn't. So yeah, which is why we've broken out the audio-visual format today, because man talks about picture doesn't necessarily work too well. Although I'm sure there are some people who will be enjoying the format in audio only. But
yeah, let's put that up there so people can see.
Oh yeah, there we go. So that's some bricks and some sand. You'll love this. That sand was brought for me back from Iraq in about 2006. When I thought I was going to do a Warhammer Fantasy Tomb King's army, and a fella who used to come into the York shop. That is sand from outside the tomb of an actual ancient king, ancient Persian king. So I thought I was going to base my Tomb Kings on sand from the tomb of a king, which was kind of. But yeah, it's been in a tub for 15 years.
Has the mumming taught you nothing? I mean, you're messing with powers you can't understand here.
This is very true. I wasn't messing with them.
This feels like a plot to a very elaborate film, frankly. You know, that
yes,
you
that's
have
true.
taken
Whether the
like
Titan comes alive at night
yeah,
and murders
exactly,
me,
right?
I don't know.
That would be something to see. So anyway, what on earth? So I was like, now please tell me that those bricks, they just come like that in a flat. No. So let me just, you're telling me that each of those bricks that you have, that lovely parkour style floor, is that the right word?
Parquet. If we just pause it there a second, someone's knocking on my door.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to
bear with me a second. We'll edit it, won't we?
I'm sure we will.
1 second.
I don't know how to do videos. It's fine. Go. Anyway, folks, I'm going to keep this running because, frankly, it's too funny not to. You would not believe what this fella's doing. I mean, I'm all for a fine model, but seriously, there's only so many things you can go for. If you're not obviously joining us with the benefit of video, and I do recommend you do, what Rob has done is it looks like he's got these individual bricks and laid them out in that parquet style, as he's correctly pointed out. Parkour's obviously running around and chucking himself off buildings, and seamlessly, he's laid each individual one. So I have no idea of the effort involved in that, but that is true, isn't it, Rob? Each one of these has been hand laid. So are these specific just bits of plastic or something, or have you bought?
No, they're from the old. Well, there used to be a fantastic doll's house shop in York. Absolutely amazing place,
right?
For all things artisanal. I remember buying 12th scale blunderbusses to use as Jezzails for a Skaven army, for example. You could get all sorts there, but from a terrain point of view, it was a gold mine. So I picked them up. 2000 and not many.
Yeah.
Maybe 2006, 2007. And I've just had them in the bag for a kind of, I don't know. There's a few on the base of my Porphyrion, but I made the mistake of actually trying to build a wall rather than.
Oh, okay. Right. Rather than paving
rather than this. And then I was in the Netherlands a couple of weeks ago.
Don't call it Holland, you'll set Mr. B off.
Yeah, I know. Well, there is a specific area of the country called
Oh.
Holland. It's a bit like Yorkshire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The family over there don't mind what you call it, so
Yeah, exactly.
Clogland.
Let's not go there.
Giant
Right.
table.
Anyway.
So yeah, I was just walking through Utrecht town centre, and I just spotted the pattern on the floor, and I was like, aha! And pulled my phone out, took a picture. The wife rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, Jesus Christ, I know what he's doing there."
What's he doing now?
When I'll stop at the side of a rusty skip and I'll take a picture of it, and she'll just be like,
really?
Yeah, such a loser. And then I came back, and there we go. Started in one corner, and then each brick super glued in. Next one.
So this is pretty marvelous. I've got to say, it looks amazing. And I say, if you've seen that kind of paving, it will be instantly recognizable. So also in this particular picture, you've got the toes of the Titan sort of smashing. It looks like you've modeled it so that when the Titans kind of hit this paving, it's kind of smashed through it because of the weight of the thing. Was that the effect you were going for?
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Basically, underneath that rubble and sand, I butchered the top of the piece of wood with a drill, a Dremel, anything vicious I could get without destroying the Titan's foot.
Nice.
Just to put a dent in, basically, and then put some glue in, and quite literally just chucked stuff at it.
Including the cursed Tomb King sand.
And then some random broken bits of brick from the bottom of the bag.
Nice.
And then it was
amazing.
all just sealed in with thinned down PVA, and then just left to soak up and dry. Not all of it survived contact with being worked. Some of it had to be super glued back on, but it's fine now that it's got a layer of primer over most of it. That's sealed it all in.
That is magnificent, truly magnificent. So that's basically where we're at, right, with this. So we've got the running Titan. You can see, if you look on the photos, you'll be able to see the way the feet have been positioned. It all looks very lifelike, I've got to say. And again, that explosion of kind of energy through to the floor. Look at me, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Looks really awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a front view picture a couple along.
Okay, let's look. See this one?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
That's so yeah, you can see again
one where it
it's kind of digging in actually as well, which is really awesome. That is super impressive.
Yeah, it worked. I was quite chuffed with that because I hadn't planned that.
Okay.
I'd glued it flat on the piece of wood and then started laying the bricks and was like, right, how am I going to make it look like it's, because that thing landing on a brick is not going to be skipping over it like a little toddler. It's going to do some damage. I had to kind of
serious damage,
work a bit of it out on the fly, but
it looks great. I mean, just to be fair to people, this is how far I've descended into the world of artisanal madness. This whole show is basically going to be spent talking about a Titan's foot. So spoiler alert.
Hashtag heresy foot fetish.
Totally is heresy foot fetish. You know, this is dangerous stuff. So foot's there. You started to sort of show us what the rest of the model would look like as well. I see you've got a pattern up there that you've worked from.
That's the photograph of the brick in Utrecht town centre. So I just printed it out and stuck it there and was like, right, don't muck it up.
Have you ever listened to yourself, Rob, when you talk about this stuff? I mean, this is crazy talk. I mean, it looks spectacular.
Is that have I crossed a line without realising it?
I think you're so far beyond that line.
I can't even see it.
You can't even, you long past that line of you descend into madness. I tell you, madness. Anyway, that does look super cool. So how has this been? So how long was it? Basically, each individual brick super glued, and then kind of dig up some area, put them tight on it. I mean, that's a lot of work, Rob. It sounds like a lot of work.
It was about 4.5 hours, and it involved the only injury so far in the entire Titan build. You'll like this. I had a 10mm brad point drill bit in my drill. Now, a brad point's a wood bit. It's got a little spike sticking out the front to get you started off.
Yep.
I forgot where I put it and went to go and get a drink and walked back into my workshop and kicked it.
Mm,
And I got a 10mm Brad point right in the
nice.
front of my shin.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So the only way that I've injured myself so far with
Well,
Titan
told you it was cursed.
is I've stabbed myself in the shin by walking into a tree.
It craves your blood, sir. It will not be happy unless you have the blood of its enemies.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You did know, of course, that whenever this thing rolls a 1 now, you have
it's never going to get played, mate. It's not going to be for gaming.
You're going to be like, no, that's the curse of the Tomb King.
I'd get told off anyway. That base is 2 inches thick. It'd be like modelling for advantage.
Yeah, hardly. I mean, it's massive. You can't miss it. I mean, you're not going to hide behind cover with that, are you? So I think you're modelling for a disadvantage, to be fair. So yeah,
there is that.
Anyway, you know what, people, I would love to see this on the table. I'm sorry, I know it's a diorama-esque piece, but everything should be on the table. Anyway,
well, it might be at some point. It would be
a lovely thing to see. I know it's, as you said, it can withstand the weight of a small child, so should be fine.
Yeah, theoretically
he wouldn't want to put it to the test. So
no, if he breaks it, then
the small child
he'll be going on eBay basically.
Oh, yeah. So we've got a little vid before you put the thing down of you kind of mocking out the full pose, if you like.
Yeah.
Nice. So was that a scary moment putting that all on?
The scarier bit was putting the sort of shoulder joints on, because they are literally just tacked on with the tiniest blob of glue there, so they could get snapped off for painting inside, and the exhaust vents are just hung on. The bit that was the real pain was the shoulder magnets, the weapon magnets. I bought some that weren't big enough, and the weapons were like swinging, and I was like, not having that. Not having that. It's like, flapping about. So I had to drill those out, which made an absolute mess. Fill where they were, and then I've put 13, 15 mil, I think they are. They're about 11 or 12 kilos each. Like, those weapons aren't going anywhere.
Best not get it too near me. I'm guessing they're the same ones that kind of Chris used on his on Big Bird.
Yeah, that's the same one that's holding the same one that's holding the waist on is the same one that's holding the weapons on, so it's got no problem with them. There is a lot of magnet in that. You might not want to play it because it might actually
be too much. Well, there you go. So lovely stuff. It looks absolutely spectacular. It's a great pose, very dynamic, and again, I think that flooring will totally help as well, give that impression of speed and movement. So, like I said, I know what I'm talking about. So, with the thing assembled-ish and sort of mocked up, you then took it all off again and started to actually apply some paint here. Oh, I haven't seen this one. This is maybe I haven't seen this one. That's a new one, isn't it?
That's the ruin bits that have arrived from Unreal Wargaming Studios. That arrived the other day while I was just tinkering about with it. So I just kind of balanced them on there and snapped a quick pick. They're going to get painted separately before that section's put on.
Gotcha.
So that'll be like the frontis of a ruined building that's about to get ruined even more when that trailing foot comes through.
Got you. Cool. That looks absolutely awesome. So you've got the building in. That's where the building's going to be. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
What color are you going to? Is the paving going to stay the sort of grey color? I think it looks.
I think it's going to be grey. I'll probably go back to my reference picture because it's a bit grey. It's a bit red.
Yeah.
There's a few different colours for it, so I'll see what I can get out of it that works. I know Miles has just done a tutorial on bases using Unreal Wargaming bases for stone effect, so I might have a work through that and do something similar with the building bits, and then see what works against that for the base.
Very cool. Looks awesome. So let us progress further down the world of feet. Oh my word! Now we're down to toes, toe level, folks. So I was actually slightly curious about this, to be fair. So obviously you've got your kind of old gold look there, highlighted in silver. The bits around the outside of that to give it that kind of black, grimy look in the recesses. At that level, is that just like a oil wash or something you've done there? There seems like a bit of texture going on.
There's about 19 things going on there.
Oh crikey! Okay, I kind of almost regret. So there's a picture. Is that kind of before or after? Because
that's before, because it's still shiny.
Yeah, because I got to be honest with you, when I looked at this, I thought, how did you do that? So it looks to me, the layman, that the metal itself has a texture, which obviously I never do because I just like dry brush stuff. So it looked really cool. I don't know if that's just a trick of the light or whatever, but it looks like you've given it, particularly on the toe, the brighter coloured toes. That looks like there's some sort of texture thing going on there. It looks really cool.
So the white part of the toe, I figured that's its foot. It's not, that paint's going to get wrecked.
Yes.
And chipped and wrecked and probably repaint, like, you know, as soon as it finishes campaign, they're like, right, let's repaint the feet.
Makes sense.
Because they're going to be all over the show. So it was sprayed white.
I wonder if that's like the worst job the mechanic can get.
Like, you know, either that or laying either a pavement laying servitor, or a toe painting.
But I mean, if your job description is basically painting the nails of a Titan. You know, I mean, the Titans, they're the machine spirits. They know, I would like something in lilac, please. You know, with a lacquer coat. I mean, who knows? Anyway, my knowledge of
that's all right. That's all right.
So
I sprayed it white.
Yeah.
And then I stippled over it with a Panzer Grey. And then I put some chipping fluid on it.
Okay.
And then sprayed over it with white again. And then chipped it. Sort of, I've got an old hog's hair brush, like quite a hoarse, quite a harsh, bristly kind of brush that I chopped off. So the bristles are only about 5 mil long. It's good for chipping stuff because you just stab into paintwork and it just tends to go through and give you a nice random pattern. And then
you have to do a whole thing about chipping, because I've chipped literally nothing except by accident.
Oh, there's about 1 million different ways to chip.
Okay, maybe that's for another episode. But go on. So basically,
so that was chipped with chipping fluid, and then around all the edges, I airbrushed a very fine sort of overspray of burnt iron. It's called. It's a cellulose lacquer.
Okay.
It's.
Are you sprayed down?
Yeah, well, that was airbrushed, and then it had about 5 different enamel filters put on it. So different streaking grimes for white or winter, or some for blue, and basically I just hit it with the entire catalogue of military modelling stuff, filtered it down a bit, blended it out with some white spirit, so it was a bit more subtle. And then I've remembered that military style stuff, historical style stuff, isn't that popular when it comes to competition.
Oh, this is a competition. Are you thinking, dare I say it, to entering this for, you know, in the big leagues,
and into Silver Imp?
Yes,
something along those lines. You know,
bronze succubus,
bronze ifrit. So I figured, they don't like historical stuff in that. They seem to not like it when things look like they're an actual thing.
Who would have thunk it?
So I sort of, I'm compromising a bit. Okay. And I then glazed back over all that with just normal white, so it just kind of neatened it and sort of almost softened it. Like it was almost like put everything in soft focus rather than all the chips being super, super harsh. And then I went on to the metallics, which is base coated and then pin washed and then pin washed with something else and then highlighted with one color and then highlighted with another. And looking at it close up that way, I need to do some more blending because there's noticeable edges there, so I'll have to fix them.
But if you can see that, then you have infinitely better eyesight than I have. But I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
You said you airbrush? So if I've got this right, I don't know if you can see, my cursor is on the screen, but round the edges of this thing. So obviously you get the white, and you kind of built the layers up, which is awesome, and then chipped it.
Yeah.
But the sort of grime in between. Did you say you sprayed that on?
I
Or
started
that on?
Started by airbrushing it. Yeah.
See, if I airbrush that, that'd cover the whole model. How have you how have you done this? Is this like just being very careful with your airbrush, or have you
Yeah,
airbrushed
basically it's just like
quite close? I'm assuming.
like talking less than half a centimeter away.
Okay.
The thing with the
Would that be like with a low pressure or a high?
yeah, low pressure, because the cellulose based stuff is literally thinner than water, so you can get away with super low pressure, which lets you get in really close and do super fine lines. Whether I do that, whether I freehand it on some of the other bits of trim on bigger stuff later on, we shall see.
Got you. So, but this is cellulose stuff. So this is, you need the full kind of PPE gear. Well, actually, you need more than the PPE gear, I should say.
Yeah,
you need the full biff stuff when it comes to a mask.
You need a servitor to do it for you, really. But yeah,
okay.
It's gives great results, but it's
yes, there's the stuff for where angels fear to tread. Very cool. So, a bit more of that business. I think that's slightly further along the journey. What might be?
No, I think that's the same stage, just not quite as dry. It's where it's a bit shinier. Nice. In places. The pistons are touched up with a pencil.
Got you. And I see you've got one of those little metal trays there for your oil. I've seen these appear in a few videos recently.
Yeah, I've got a dozen of them. I've been looking for them for ages, and then Mr. Waterbeast sent me a link to get hold of some, so that I got a dozen of them for about £6.
Nice. Very cool.
So yeah, they are.
They look like a good idea.
Yeah, they're handy for all your oily bits and stuff. Because I mean, I get in trouble when the missus finds them in the dishwasher, but
yeah, I wash mine in the sink. It's all good. So it's starting to take shape, one toe at a time.
Yeah, literally one toe.
Toes done, yeah. So you know.
Yeah, one rivet at a time.
Wow, this is a journey and no mistake.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. And that's before I get onto any freehand. These are the easy bits.
Really?
Yeah. These are the easy bits. I've got sort of Baroque ornamentation to go on the shin panels and various places. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I've got reference books that I've bought. I've cadged some from my stepfather's library. I've bought a couple of others, so I'm going to have a go at getting some Baroque ornamentation on there, like around the edges of panels and various bits and bobs. So yeah, I'll probably end up in an asylum somewhere. Sort of.
And when your initial estimate of getting this finished by October, you were like, maybe. I think
no chance.
I think you're being somewhat optimistic based on your current progress.
Yeah, no chance. Maybe if my wife left me and took the kid and I lost my job, I might get it done by October.
Don't say those things like that, man. Not after you've got cursed sand.
I'm not saying that on
a model.
I'm just
saying, I mean, that's the sort of thing. Fate loves to play games with people. So, and like I say, putting cursed sand on a model, that was brave, got to say. So anyway, we will look forward to the next riveting episode. See what I did there?
Oh yes.
Of Rob's Baroque adventure in Titans over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, very cool. So obviously chipping something we need to have a chat about at some point, because I've never done that, and probably not massively likely to.
I reckon there's one way.
You think so? I was intrigued by that way of applying, because I have thought about whether you could airbrush on, I don't want to say Agrax Earthshade, but you know what I mean, like for that overall effect. But anyway, enough of my ability to take a model and just spray it with a darkened brown oil to make it look slightly better.
If that's the environment it's been in, if that's what it would look like, then that's what it would look like. That's what you've got to factor in, though, isn't it? You've got to, right, where is it? What's it doing? Is it a corrosive environment? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it dusty? Is it muddy? You've got to Is it urban? Is it rural? You've got to tell these stories with it and then go, right, well, it's that colour dirty dishwater that I need to wash it with.
So I was going to ask you a question, actually. What could I do with this model? So I kind of ran out of ideas with this, if I'm completely truthful, because it was just like, this is just all blue, because it was all blue. And I was like, I don't really know how to make it look anything other than all blue. So I was going to...
Start by drilling the heavy bolter barrels out.
Don't you even go there.
You're gonna put undrilled barrels in my face like that. Then,
I am right in your grill. Yeah.
Then I'm gonna
your
comment
lovely
on
artisanal. I've decided to put something a little bit more sensible together for folks out there. So what do I do here? I tried really hard to do something that would make it look less just kind of flat blue, and I did do zenithal highlights on the airbrushing. I mean, it looks fine. It looks perfectly fine as an Ultramarines vehicle, without it getting into what I don't like, which is the kind of artificial edge highlighting, which I've never liked as a effect.
Not on vehicles.
I mean, you see it done, don't you? You know, they're just running a light blue over the top of it, and it just doesn't look right to me. So anything that I could have done, do you think? I'm not going to do it, but just in case I have to do any more options.
What I would do, well, you might be there might be a plastic Spartan coming your way soon. So that recess on the front of the track, the sort of indented bit on the side panel where there's that kind of mask that off, spray that white.
Oh, this bit here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I have done it on one of them, but I wanted. So this is the reason. I know what you mean. That kind of little bit there, and put some white paneling in there to break it up a bit.
Yeah.
The other one's got lots of white on it, and it was kind of the command one. So I did think about doing white on the doors, but I kind of bottled it. Thought maybe I just do like the, like the one outside Warhammer World is just flat blue. But yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
I do that white. I would go with an HB pencil around the edges, like the edges of the assault ramp.
Yeah.
Hit them with the edge, like on those edges. Hit it with an HB pencil.
Right.
Or if you're really bored, you can like just shave the graphite off an HB pencil.
That's not going to happen. You know that isn't going to happen.
No. You just sort of scrub along those edges with a HB pencil. Same with your tracks as well. If you've got a softer pencil, that might work well, like a 2B rather than a HB. Again, drill the heavy bolter out.
That's never going to happen. I'm going to point that out. Isn't that how many times you say it? It makes no odds. It's not going to happen. But now that I look at it, and now that I talk to you, oh no! Once I start down this journey, there's no hope for me, because I'm looking at going, yeah, those barrels don't look very good, do they? Now, normally I would just paint them black and hope for the best, but this is what's happened, Rob. If I start drilling out barrels, there's literally no help for me. You do realise that?
No, there is help for you. There is help for you. I
There's
had to drill out the barrels
ordering Polynesian wood to put the base on a thing on at some point. That's where that leads.
Some koa would have been nice, but that is really expensive stuff. Hawaiian koa wood, but that probably would have cost more than the actual Titan to get a piece big enough to put the Titan on. So my wood fetish aside, like hit your edges with an HB pencil. I would. Your Ultramarines, what are they based like? They're on infantry.
They're on the Zone Mortalis bases.
All right, okay. So it could be kind of anywhere.
Could be kind of. Of course, the vehicles are covered in mud.
So what I would do with the vehicle tracks is I would pin wash all those track links and whatnot, but I would do it with a light colour, like a sandy colour, a beige.
Right. Okay. Because I think I used typhus corrosion on them at some point too.
Looks it. But I think just for a bit of contrast to get it to pop out against the rest of the scheme, if you get a nice sandy beige, I'm not going to say like Florida Keys, like bright white sand, that's just going to look weird. But not quite Scarborough in winter, but not Key West.
So what on the biscuit scale? We're talking digestive, rich tea.
Talking inside of a rich tea.
Right. Okay.
because that is slightly lighter than the outside of a ridge tea.
Okay, inside of it, right. I'll use that as a reference point.
If we're talking Tamiya, I would use deck tan.
Deck tan, yeah, of course. There's that. I mean, I'll probably go to the range near me, and they've got a great supply of art materials. I found, including all the Winsor & Newton paints. So,
yeah, well, get a white and get a ochre or something that like a sort of leathery sort of color that you can make a variation of biscuit tones, and get yourself a rich tea kind of thing, and just pin wash it in around.
So every one of those tracks, you want me to go around with a brush.
Well, if you just dot it, it should do itself for you.
Oh, that's true. That is true. I have struggled a little bit with the consistency of oils, so maybe that's another question. But anyway,
if in doubt, thin it further.
That seems to be the sound advice. So there we go. So a couple of cool and interesting things this month. I think we're going to come back to chipping, because I would suspect that might be involved in further conversations around the title at some point.
Oh yes, it shall be, and I can provide numerous resources for people to go and take it further once I've had my half-baked attempt at explaining what I do.
Lovely. All right, Rob, well, I'll leave you back in the shack to scribble away on probably a rivet that's going to take you about four weeks. While I, just out of interest, this is maybe not a conversation for now, but did you say you got getting the box set?
Did I get what?
Oh
yes, I am. I am getting the box.
My question to you, very quickly, is: are you going to do a new Legion?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there we go. Well, maybe, folks, we shall talk about that next time, and probably on the show itself. So, thank you once again, my friend. You have a great afternoon.
You too.
And I shall speak to you soon.
Adios.
Happy painting out there.
Yes. Enjoy it, folks.
Ta-ra.
Bye.